For over 300 years, one invisible enemy killed more sailors than storms, pirates, or war. It wasn't a monster hiding beneath the ocean. It wasn't starvation. It was the absence of one tiny vitamin. That sounds impossible. How could something so small destroy entire expeditions, reshape naval history, and delay the exploration of the world? To answer that, we have to go back to a time when crossing an ocean was one of the most dangerous things a human could do. Imagine it. It's the 1700s. A massive wooden ship leaves England. The crew is excited. Food is loaded. Water barrels are full. The wind is perfect. Everything looks normal. The first few weeks are uneventful. The sailors work, they eat, they laugh. Nothing seems wrong. Then something strange begins to happen. One sailor complains about being unusually tired. Another notices bruises appearing on his legs without remembering getting hurt. A few days later, someone's gums start bleeding while eating. Then another sailor loses a tooth. Soon, old wounds that healed years ago begin opening again. The strongest men on the ship slowly become too weak to stand. Some can't even lift a rope. Others die lying in their hammocks. The captain has no idea what's happening. There's no obvious infection, no enemy attack, no poisoned food. Yet every week, more men become sick. By the time the ship reaches its destination, half the crew is gone. This wasn't a rare disaster. It happened again and again and again. Historians estimate that during the age of exploration, scurvy killed millions of sailors, more than many naval battles ever did. And here's the strangest part. Nobody knew why. Doctors had dozens of theories. Some blamed bad air, others blamed seawater. Some even thought laziness caused the disease. They tried strange treatments: vinegar, sulfuric acid, salt water, herbs, bloodletting. None of them worked. The mystery remained unsolved for centuries. But there was one clue nobody understood. Scurvy almost never appeared at the beginning of a voyage. It usually appeared after 2 or 3 months at sea. Why? That tiny detail would eventually solve the entire mystery. Think about what sailors actually ate. Fresh fruit? Gone within days. Fresh vegetables? Spoiled quickly. Instead, their diet became almost entirely salted meat, hard biscuits, dried grains, and preserved foods. Those foods kept people alive, but they were missing something invisible, something nobody even knew existed. Today, we call it vitamin C. But discovering the missing vitamin only raises a bigger question. Why would the lack of one nutrient make someone's body literally fall apart? The answer lies inside one of the most important proteins you've probably never thought about: collagen. Imagine your body as a skyscraper. Bones are the steel beams, muscles are the workers, organs are the rooms. But none of it stays together without thousands of support cables holding everything in place. Those cables are collagen. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your body. It's found in your skin, your tendons, your ligaments, your blood vessels, your gums, your bones, even your scars. It's everywhere. In fact, about 1/3 of all the protein in your body is collagen. Now, imagine something terrifying. Your body suddenly loses the ability to make strong collagen. The old collagen slowly wears out, but the replacement never arrives. At first, nothing obvious happens. That's why scurvy takes weeks to appear. Your body keeps using the collagen it already has. But eventually, those support cables begin breaking faster than they can be replaced. That's when everything starts going wrong. Blood vessels become fragile. Tiny leaks appear under the skin. Bruises form from the smallest bumps. Your gums weaken because the tissues holding your teeth together begin falling apart. Teeth loosen, then they fall out. Old scars can reopen because scar tissue is packed with collagen. Even bones become weaker because collagen forms the framework that minerals attach to. The sailors weren't just getting sick. Their bodies were literally losing the glue that held them together. And here's where vitamin C enters the story. Vitamin C doesn't become collagen. Instead, it helps activate 2 critical enzymes that allow collagen fibers to form properly. Without vitamin C, your body tries to build collagen, but it can't finish the job. Imagine trying to build a suspension bridge with thousands of steel cables. Now, imagine every cable is missing half its bolts. The bridge might stand for a while, but eventually, it begins to fail. That's exactly what happened to sailors with scurvy. Not because they were infected, not because they were poisoned, because they couldn't finish building one of the most important proteins in the human body. Now here's the question that completely changed history. If the cure was so simple, why did nobody discover it for hundreds of years? For centuries, the answer was sitting right in front of people: fresh fruit. The strange thing was, sailors had noticed it long before science could explain it. Whenever a ship stopped at an island and the crew ate fresh oranges, lemons, or other fruits, many sick sailors began recovering. Their gums stopped bleeding. Their strength slowly returned. New wounds healed. Yet nobody knew why. Most people assumed the fruit had some mysterious healing power. They had no idea it contained the one nutrient their bodies desperately needed. Then, in 1747, a Scottish naval surgeon named James Lind decided to do something revolutionary. Instead of guessing, he ran one of history's first controlled medical experiments. He selected 12 sailors suffering from scurvy. They all lived on the same ship. They ate the same food. The only difference was the treatment each pair received. Some drank vinegar, others drank seawater. Some received spicy mixtures. One group received oranges and lemons. Within days, the difference was impossible to ignore. The sailors eating citrus recovered dramatically faster than everyone else. Today, that sounds obvious. Back then, it was groundbreaking. For the first time, someone had demonstrated that one treatment clearly worked while the others didn't. You'd think the mystery was finally solved. It wasn't. Here's one of the strangest parts of the story. Even after Lind's experiment, the British Navy didn't immediately change. Years passed. Thousands more sailors died. Why? Because medicine wasn't built around scientific evidence the way it is today. Many doctors still believed older theories. Some argued the citrus worked for completely different reasons. Others simply ignored the results. It took decades before citrus fruits became standard supplies on long voyages. But once they did, everything changed. British ships began carrying lemon juice and later lime juice on long expeditions. Suddenly, sailors stayed healthier for much longer. Ships could travel farther without losing most of their crew. Naval missions became more reliable. Exploration accelerated. Global trade expanded. The British Navy gained an enormous advantage over rivals whose crews were still being devastated by scurvy. In fact, British sailors became so closely associated with carrying limes that people started calling them limeys. It began as a nickname. It became part of history. But the biggest surprise is still waiting, because scurvy raises a question almost nobody asks. Why do humans need vitamin C at all? After all, your body makes thousands of different molecules every day. Proteins, hormones, enzymes. Surely it can make one simple vitamin, right? Actually, most animals can. Dogs make their own vitamin C. Cats do too. So do cows, goats, rats, even many birds and reptiles. They don't need oranges, they don't need supplements. Their livers naturally produce vitamin C every single day. So why can't we? The answer goes back millions of years. Scientists believe our distant primate ancestors lived in environments where fruit was available almost year-round. Their diets naturally supplied plenty of vitamin C. Over many generations, a mutation damaged a gene called gulo, which is needed to produce vitamin C. Normally, losing such an important ability would be disastrous, but because fruit was always available, there wasn't enough evolutionary pressure to remove the mutation. The individual survived, had children, passed the mutation on. Eventually, humans and the few other animals like guinea pigs and some bats lost the ability completely. For millions of years, that wasn't a problem. Then, humans built ships. Suddenly, people who evolved in fruit-rich forests were spending months surrounded by nothing but ocean. The mutation that had been harmless for millions of years became deadly. One missing molecule suddenly shaped exploration, trade, naval warfare, and the history of entire civilizations. That's astonishing. And it also changes the way we think about vitamin C today. Most people associate it with the common cold. You've probably heard that taking huge amounts of vitamin C prevents illness. The reality is more nuanced. For most people, vitamin C doesn't stop you from catching a cold. Research shows it may slightly reduce how long symptoms last for some people, and it can be more helpful for individuals under extreme physical stress, but it's not the miracle cure it's often advertised to be. Its real superpower isn't fighting colds. It's quietly helping your body do jobs so essential that you rarely notice them. Building collagen, healing wounds, supporting healthy blood vessels, helping your immune system function normally, protecting cells from oxidative stress. The amazing thing about vitamin C is that you almost never think about it until it's gone. And that's exactly why scurvy was so terrifying. Nothing dramatic happened overnight. The body simply stopped replacing one essential protein, day after day, week after week, until the entire system began falling apart. Today, scurvy is uncommon in most developed countries because fresh fruits, vegetables, and fortified foods are widely available. But mild vitamin C deficiency can still occur, especially in people with very limited diets, severe alcohol use disorder, certain medical conditions, or other factors that reduce intake or absorption. The solution usually isn't expensive supplements. It's a balanced diet that regularly includes vitamin C-rich foods like citrus fruits, strawberries, kiwi, bell peppers, broccoli, and tomatoes. And that brings us back to where we started. How could one tiny vitamin change human history? Because it was never just about the vitamin. It was about collagen. It was about a genetic mutation that humans inherited millions of years ago. It was about ships that stayed at sea longer than our biology was prepared for. One missing nutrient quietly killed millions of sailors, delayed exploration, changed naval power, and taught medicine one of its earliest lessons about evidence-based science. Not bad for a molecule measured in milligrams. Subscribe for more videos that uncover the hidden science behind the world around us.